Yeah, you read that right. I only do two exercises per muscle group in a given session, with sometimes even doing just one. Over the past 2 years, I can confidently say that I've doubled my progress and I spent nearly a third of the time in the gym. I've reviewed every single training log, and this is the way. Trust me. Welcome to my full exercise guide, how you can stop overcomplicating training and honestly just increase your productivity in the gym. Get more out of doing less. Let's begin. First off, big ups to you, respect. You decided to click on this long, unedited guide over short clickbait videos that you already know get you nowhere because you know how you feel after you doom scroll for 5 hours. Because of this, you have a top 1% attention span and you deserve to get premium education. And that's exactly what you're going to get in this video. Respect. So, why listen to me? Well, I went from doing 3 hour workouts with over 35, sometimes even 50 sets. It's insane. To now doing sometimes 30 to 45-minute workouts with 10 sets that, when I calculated it, exactly give me 1.8x the gains. So nearly twice as much, and I'm doing a third, sometimes even a fourth of the work. And honestly, I don't blame you if you don't believe me, because this is the transformation. I got so much more out of doing so little. So by the end of this video, I promise you that you'll have a complete understanding of the only exercises and rep ranges you need for each muscle group. You'll save yourself years of just stupid, not productive, aimless training by just watching this video. Boys, the value of this video is actually insane. I've compiled all of my knowledge over the past 4 years of exercising, and I put it all into this mega guide for free. I mean, I could sell this easily for like 600 bucks, but I'm giving it for free. And your 1% attention span will reward you for this. So watch the whole thing in one sitting if you can't split it up, but just focus because this here, the knowledge in this video is worth more than any short or reel that you could watch. Trust me. So, quick introduction. My name's Daniel, and I post bodybuilding videos based on my experiences. I went from having this out of shape physique with this weird, like, androgynous fucking bitch titties to now being, of course, in shape and having a nice, appealing physique. By the way, top link in description, I've linked my paid program. It's Daily Bodybuilding Tips Advanced. I give you one-to-one coaching and just hyper detailed guides, like 10-hour guides. This is probably going to be about an hour video, but over there you get like 10-hour guides. They cover advanced muscle building tips, custom built training plans, weekly check-ins, calls, advanced recovery protocols, all that. So that's top in the description. Daily bodybuilding tips advanced. Check that out. Let's get straight into this video. So in this video, we will cover how to effectively program exercises and reps for every single one of the 7 major muscles of the body. So that's going to be the chest, triceps, and the shoulders, the back and the biceps, and of course the legs, no skipping legs, quadriceps, and hamstrings. Let's begin. So first off, we have the chest. The chest is a fairly simple muscle to train when you actually figure it out because the ideology behind it is very simple. It just takes 2 steps. Step number 1 is you start your workout with heavy pressing. And step number 2, you end the workout with light squeezing sets. So let's begin first with heavy pressing. What is it? It's any exercise that you're really just trying to move the weight over really feeling an insane contraction. And of course, we want to get a good contraction under any weight, but with heavy pressing, you're mainly just trying to move the weight. So this is typically in the lower rep range. So we could do anywhere from 5 to really 8 reps. 8 reps is about the cutoff because once you get any more than 8, you're getting into the higher rep ranges. So you begin the heavy pressing when you're fresh, when you have the most energy, which is always at the beginning of the chest workout. You're just trying to move the weight. You're doing 5 to 8 repetitions, and it's a great start because you could get a lot of blood into the muscle when you have the most amount of energy. So that's what you start with. You start with heavy pressing. I'll show you in a second all the types of exercises you could do for heavy pressing, but let's just very quickly cover light squeezing sets. So you begin heavy pressing, right? Maybe you're about 4 sets into the workout, maybe three, maybe two, whatever. Light squeezing sets come next. So here, what you're trying to do is you're trying to stimulate a huge pump. You're trying to just draw as much blood into the muscle as possible. And we're doing this by training higher reps. So we're going anywhere from 8 to 12 to sometimes even 15 reps. And this usually, not always, but you could sometimes do a light squeezing sets on some type of press, like a chest press. But typically, when people refer to light squeezing sets, they're talking about flies. So flies like chest flies, pec deck, dumbbell flies, etc., etc. So the order is we start from heavy pressing and then we go, excuse me, into light squeezing sets. That's the ideology with chest. So of course, the rep ranges are fairly obvious here. Heavy pressing, lower reps when we have more energy, we're really trying to just move the weight, and then light squeezing sets, of course, lighter. We're just trying to pump, we're just trying to stimulate the muscle. And if you were to get anything out of light squeezing sets, it's really just a finisher. It comes last, usually, to solidify the pump, get as much blood into the muscle when we have lower energy because they're not as taxing on the nervous system as our heavy pressing. So now let me show you all the exercise examples that you could do. So for chest, heavy pressing, you have the incline Smith. I personally use the incline Smith. I start out with incline Smith. I do 2 to 3 sets, and then I sometimes go into like a chest press or a chest fly because I like to do sometimes chest press is can also be used for light squeezing sets. It's typically flies, but you could also do a squeezing set on like a chest press, make it do like 8 to 10 reps. Usually the converging, if you know what this means, converging means the handles are coming towards you. The converging ones are usually very, very good for light squeezing sets. So you can do an incline Smith, incline machine. So it's the same thing as an incline Smith, but it's just on a machine. Incline dumbbell, incline plate loaded press. So it's basically just the same thing as any incline machine, but you're putting on plates on the sides. It's no difference. It's perfect. Machine chest press, like I said, this right here, the machine chest press, they could be used also for light squeezing sets. Same thing with the plate load chest press. Same thing, not really with the bench press. Bench press is a little harder, but and same thing with flat dumbbell press. It's a little harder. But machine chest press, plate load chest press, they could also be into the light squeezing sets. It's a lot harder to do incline Smith, light squeezing, incline machine, incline dumbbell, incline plate loaded, which is exactly why we just leave that for the heavy pressing. Now, like squeezing sets, like I said, it's flies usually. I love the pec deck. It's the machine. It's like a butterfly machine, if you know what that means, where you're really just trying to squeeze the muscle. So cable flies are great. Pec deck, amazing. Love that. Dumbbell flies, a little bit harder to do. If you don't have maybe a pec deck or cables, you could do a dumbbell fly, but I would usually try to just lean towards the cable fly or the pec deck or the plate loaded fly. Plate loaded fly, if you have that, that's amazing. Usually more of a bougie machine. You know, they're not commonly found, the plate loaded flies, but perhaps you have it. It could work very nicely. So yeah, that's chest. Very, very simple. It just takes 2 types of sets, a double combination here. We have heavy pressing combined with light squeezing sets. Start out the workout with the heavy pressing. We have the most amount of energy. And then go into the light squeezing sets. Really just work as a finisher. Okay. As you can see right here, this is the programming. Any one of these works perfectly for the chest. And like I said, the rep ranges. Incline Smith, of course, is a heavy press. We do lower reps. Light squeezing sets, we can do higher reps. And now, listen, there is no be all end all with this type of stuff. You can do light squeezing sets and then move into the heavy pressing. A lot of people have an inclination to do this type of exercise, and it works. Though there is no definitive that you have to go heavy pressing, light squeezing sets. Most people do that. It seems to be more conventional. But you can also, if you like, light squeezing sets first, where you pump it and then you just try to move the weight as much when you have a full pump. Works for you, do it. Though I know most people, they get the most benefit, the most gains, the best pump, the best contraction, the best mind muscle connection when they start out with heavy pressing and then they go into the light squeezing sets. And right here, you could see what I do. I go incline Smith. I pair that not always, but sometimes with a machine chest press. The machine chest press would usually be in terms of light squeezing sets. And then I love, absolutely love the pec deck. It's perfect. So that is chest. Very, very simple. And if you think chest was simple, the triceps are even simpler because all you need is one exercise. Check out these triceps, boys. They know what they're talking about. So, one exercise. What is this magic exercise that you could use for the triceps? And really, it's just any type of push down or just press. So, a press can be like a dip, a push down can be a rope push down, which is personally what I love to do. I love to do the rope push down. I keep it very, very simple with triceps. And I know what you're thinking right now, but Daniel, you have to do overhead to target the other head, the long head or the short head or the medial head. They all have to be hit and stimulated. Yeah, when you're advanced. When you're an advanced bodybuilder who has to hit some type of a weight cap for his bodybuilding show and he has to be very, very specific where he's packing on the muscle, yeah, he has to do that. But the bottom line is you don't have to be messing around with the overhead and the regular if you aren't advanced yet. So I say advanced is kind of like an arbitrary term, but anywhere from like 5 to 7 years of lifting, maybe 4 to 7, 4 to 8 if you play a sport. But you'll know when you're advanced. And people who are advanced, they know this is true. It's hard to explain right now. I'm not that advanced yet, but you know when you're advanced compared to before, like it just kind of hits you. It's like a reflection. So just one exercise is enough. I personally love to do the rope push down. I've built my whole triceps on just a rope push down, and sometimes I do dips. So I'd start on like a rope push down, and then maybe as a finisher exercise, I just do some body weight dips, and I try to progressively overload there. Now, in terms of the reps, I personally think you don't need to do any light. You could do light squeezing sets with triceps and heavy pressing. Some people do it, but overall, I think longevity is more important, and you should really just protect your joints. You should train in the 8 to 12 rep range, where you could just prioritize your form, prioritize the range of motion, because in the long run, the way I think of it is whether or not you train in the 15 rep range or the 20 rep range or the 12 rep range, which by most people would say 20 reps is too much. At the end of the day, after like 20 years of working out, you're jacked regardless. And you have healthy joints. And healthy joints is the most important thing. So protect your joints 8 to 12 reps, and simply one exercise is enough. And I personally love the row pushdown. The triceps are an extremely simple muscle to train, and people make it extremely complicated, talking about how you need 3 different exercises to train all 3 heads. Not exactly, because rope pushdown and dips, I mean, the exercise, the muscle, the heads are still getting stimulated, and you're not advanced that you need to be prioritizing which head needs to get the most muscle gain right now. So yeah, that is triceps. Very nice. Now, for triceps, let me just show you some exercise examples that you could do that I personally vouch for. I think these are really good. You have rope pushdowns, like we said. You have really any type of pushdown on the cable. So straight bar works. The V bar works. So if you know V bar is like something like that. That's how it works. It has like the little bombs on the ends. Rope works, straight bar works, V bar works, the the triangle bar works. Any type of push down on the cable is great. Then you have JM press, a little bit more of an advanced exercise. It's kind of like a skull crusher. So if you like skull crushers, that's pretty good too. And dips are great, and dips and machine dips you can basically put together. Now, very important, a lot of people like to train the triceps extremely heavy because they think big muscles require higher weight. It's not really how it works because the muscle simply needs the best amount of stimulus. And if the best amount of stimulus comes from training in the 8 to 12 rep range, well, then so be it. Protect your joints, boys. It doesn't matter if you're huge, if everything hurts. Okay, so shoulders. Shoulders, once again, just one exercise. Very, very simple. You only need to be training the side delts when you're training shoulders. Because the why is this actually? Because the front delts are hit through your heavy pressing. So like we talked about through chest, on your chest day, your front delts are getting a very good amount of stimulus. Okay? And the rear delts are getting a very good amount of stimulus through the back day that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So you really only need to hit the side delt. Anything from if you're hitting directly the front delt or the rear delt, unless you're advanced, like we said right here, you don't need the specialization. It really just becomes redundant. And any type of lateral raise works perfect for the side delts. So this could be like a dumbbell lateral raise, cable lateral raise, or machine lateral raise. I personally love the machine lateral raise. I have a really good connection with it. I say connect, I mean, not like a relationship, of course. It's a very good mind muscle connection, very good just pump and stimulus. I feel the muscle doing the work. Just really side delts only, man. If I were to just say one thing for shoulders, just spam lateral raises. Any type of lateral raise works perfect. Okay. Now, rep ranges. Rep ranges for shoulders are very, very overlooked. Higher rep ranges really are better for the shoulder. So anywhere from 10 to 15 reps. And now why is this? Why is this that shoulders get higher rep ranges? Well, the reason for this is because we are bodybuilders. We are not weight lifters. We care more about the muscle stimulus rather than how much weight we can move. And if you notice, people who train very heavy on shoulders, specifically the lat raises, maybe a shoulder raise, or sorry, a shoulder press, you can get away with training a little lighter. But like we know already, people who are hitting shoulder presses may be more advanced, or they may be doing redundant exercises, or maybe they're just not training side delts at all. People who train very heavy for lat raises, specifically for the shoulders, typically are not getting the best muscular stimulus. This is because when you train very heavy on lat raises, you begin to shrug. When you try to shrug, it's like you're moving the weight, right? You see? But my shoulders and my traps are also moving up. And when you're moving up, you're basically training a lot of your traps. And now you're not isolating the muscle group. And now you see we're bodybuilders, we're not weightlifters, we're not some like CrossFitters that are trying to maximize every single muscle group at once. Of course, compound exercises are great, but the lat raise is an isolation exercise. And we already know we're only training side delts. When we try to go heavy, we begin to get our traps involved. We begin to get like our rhomboids involved and our back. And then you see these guys, they're not even training their shoulders, and their shoulders are small because they're using such high weight. You have to realize the shoulders, bro, they're just such a small muscle group. The shoulders are so small comparatively to like your quads or even your triceps or even your, of course, your chest, right? You need to understand that higher rep ranges are the best for shoulders. You can adequately stimulate the muscle, and this, of course, is going to first hurt your ego because, training higher rep ranges, it's not as cool, but the pump is going to be insane. So, for shoulders, very quick recap, the only exercise you need is any type of lateral raise. So right here you have the examples, dumbbell, cable, machine. I personally love the machine. And reps, train the higher rep ranges for 10 to 15, maybe even 20. I see some guys doing 20 reps on lat raises and their shoulders are big. And the thing is, they're only training their shoulders. They're not hitting their traps in the meantime, and they're only pumping their shoulders. They're getting the best stimulus and the best muscle growth. And honestly, this right here, people don't really understand the shoulders that well. That's a common mistake I see like amongst my students in the program, and that's exactly what my coaching's for. So like I give detailed analysis, custom programming. You fix all your mistakes that's silently killing your progress. That's top link in the description is Daily Bodybuilding Tips Advanced. Just check that out real quick. Yeah, that's shoulders. Let's move on. Now, back. Back, you can't hit just one exercise like you did with the triceps, like you did with the shoulders. Back is a little bit more complex, and you need two exercises. So, what are these two exercises? The first type of exercise is really any type of pull down or pull up. The pull down, we're talking like lat pull down. So, we're training our lats first because right here we'll draw like a little anatomy of the back. This is like the ideal back, which you want. Nice Dorito. Well, this is the back. It's like the back of someone's head. Okay, just a hair. Oh, sure. Okay, this is the back. Lat pull down is gonna train the whole lat. It's gonna be perfect for getting the V taper physique. And now for the lat pull down, you could really use any handle that you want. So you could use the traditional one, the wide one. You could use the close one. It looks something like this, where you're just pulling forward, or sorry, down, but it's like closer to your body. You could use like a single D handle, so literally just like a handle, and you're doing one at a time. You could use a different type of lat pull down. You could use, or sorry, lat pull down handle. You could use this one, where it's like handle, handle, but the handles are on the neutral grip. Yeah, any type of handle works really good for the lats. So that's all you need in terms of the lats. So that's the first type of thing you need for the back is any type of pull down. So this is going to train your lats. And now the second part of the equation for training the back is you need any type of row. So preferably heavy rowing usually is how it works. So kind of like the chest, the training ideology is you start with heavy rowing. So heavy rowing right here can be like a dumbbell bench supported row, machine row, cable row, any type of row. And these are typically like heavier, like 6 to 8 reps. Though, like we already know, this is not definitive. You could also change it up and go heavy pull down and a light squeezing set on row. But typically, most people go heavy on row and lighter on the pull down. But once again, like we're saying, go heavy, but remember that the muscle stimulus that you're getting is the most important part. We don't want to be sacrificing any gains for an increase in our ego, which is an increase in the weight. So right here are the exercise examples, like I said. Traditional lat pull down, very good. Close grip pull down, so we could use any type of pull down attachment, and of course a pull up. A pull up is great. So when we're training right here in the blue, we have lats, and right here in the, can I change this color? Oh, I can. In the green, we'll have mid back. So mid back is going to be trained through the row. So it's like basically right here, your traps, all the way to about like here. So you can see the whole back is getting trained. And right here, the lower back will cover that later. So let's just cut off right here for the, oh, sorry, that should not be that color. Cut off right here for the back. Okay, like we said, recap, two exercises are needed. Back is a little bit more complex, so these two exercises are the lat pull downs, any type of flat movement that's going to get the outsides of your back, and then the middle of your back, do not neglect it, the rowing. Once again, the training ideology is pretty similar to the chest in that you can do heavy rowing paired with light squeezing set lat pull downs, but it could also be the other way around. It could be lat pull downs heavy paired with light squeezing set rowing, whatever you like. Now, personally, I love to do a heavy row. I'll go into like a machine mid back row. Typically, the machine is what I like, and then I go into like a lighter squeezing set for the lat pull down. So I'll start off with the row. I'll start usually 6 to 8 reps, and then the lat pull downs. So I'll just say, oops, lat pull downs. I typically like a little lighter, so I'll go like 9 to 12 reps. I like feeling the pump on that one. Now, little bonus tip for back, use straps. If you don't know what these are, they're called, just search up on the internet, gym straps for back. And basically, very, very important. They're able to increase the muscle stimulus that you get on your back because oftentimes your grip is going to be weaker than your back. So your back is going to be not failing just yet, but your grip will fail. And that's going to basically put a bottleneck on your gains. So gym straps are very, very important. I use them pretty much on every single back day. Just put it onto the bar, wrap it around, and actually, I have my gym straps right here. Let me show you. Right here. You see? Gym straps, just put it through the loop. Boom. There's a lot of tutorials. I'm just doing it quick. And of course, wrap it around the bar. And this way, what happening is I can train my back more effectively because my grip is not failing. It's actually the back that is failing. My grip is not the limiting factor. That's very, very important with back. I just want to put that as a side note. Some people, they like doing wrist wraps for chest. I don't really see the need for that because we're training obviously smart. We're not having bad joints, and yeah, so that's back. Very nice. Two exercises are needed. Let's move on. Biceps. Biceps are very, very, very similar to the triceps in that one exercise is simply enough. Now, what is this exercise? This exercise is not any specific exercise, but it's any exercise in which your wrist is supinated. Supinated means it's palm up. This is pronated, this is supinated. It's palm up. So basically, if you can think of any type of palm up curl, it's anything like a double curl, a cable curl, machine preacher curl, chin ups. Chin ups are huge because you see it's pronated. Underhand pull down, very much, or I'm sorry, supinated, very much also supinated. Bicep exercise examples. Very, very similar to triceps. Honestly, the biceps are super, super easy to train. Just any type of palm up supinated curl. And now you may be asking what type of rep ranges then. Simply 8 to 12. Same thing as triceps. Just aim to protect your joints because, like we said, it doesn't matter if you're huge, if you can't walk or your joints hurt. And even 8 to 12 rep range works very well also for the biceps because, similar to the shoulders, the bicep is just a very small muscle comparatively. So when you start to go heavy, what happens is you honestly start moving your shoulder forward, then you're getting your frontal activated, a little bit of your chest, and just messes up the whole operation. So when you're able to isolate the muscle more, and you're able to do with a nice 8 to 12 rep range, it's perfect for the biceps. So personally, I love doing the cable straight bar curls. So I just go on a cable, get like a straight bar or a V bar, like we said before, the V bar, like that. I do some curls, and then as a finisher, so just one set. So maybe I'll do two sets on the straight bar curls, and then as a finisher, just one set. Typically, finishers are just one set, or if there are two sets, they're usually just supersetted, like boom, maybe like dips, supersetted with diamond push-ups or something on a push day. Chin-ups as a finisher are great. I do one set of that, so straight bar curls, and then chin-ups. Yeah, very, very easy for the biceps. The proper programming is literally just one exercise. You could pick from any one of these. And this right here is, of course, what I like to do right here. Straight bar curls are amazing. Love those. It's really great. And the rep range, yeah, 8 to 12. Let's move on. Quads. Quads. Okay, let's go. Every staple quad workout includes one squat pattern and a leg extension. This is literally just the method. Everyone does this. It's very good. So, the squat pattern typically, like we said, is a heavier movement. It's usually 6 to 8 repetitions, 5 to 8 repetitions, pretty similar to the chest ideology and the back ideology in that we have heavy pressing, so that's the squat, and the light squeezing sets typically are the leg extensions. It gets a little harder to squeeze the muscle and do it backwards if you're trying to do a squat pattern first as a light squeezing set and then heavy pressing as a leg extension. It's not really that versatile as it is with back and chest. But yeah, so what is the squat pattern? Well, a squat pattern is any type of movement in which your knees follow the same pattern that you're just squatting, like you would just be doing a bodyweight squat. So, barbell squats, Bulgarian Swiss squats, I personally love these. Whoa. Bulgarian split squats typically are very fatiguing and they take a lot of just mental fortitude, but they're very, very good. Smith machine squats are also great. Plate loaded leg press or like a regular leg press, and hack squats are also amazing. Now, goblet squats, you can do them, but honestly, just like a last resort if you don't have anything else, because I know we don't talk a lot about optimal exercises on this channel, but goblet squats is a big risk, big strain on your lower back, not very optimal either. So kind of just L exercise, really. Yeah, quads, very, very also simple to train, but every single muscle is simple to train. I'm gonna be honest. A lot of people just try to overcomplicate things. That's why I'm giving you this full exercise guide. Squat pattern paired with the leg extension. So we have squat pattern, heavy pressing, and then leg extension, light squeezing sets. So anywhere from 8 to 15 repetitions, really just how you like to do it. Some people like 15, some people even go to 20, some people like 8. It's really just up to you to find out. As you become a more advanced lifter, you'll get more in tune with this type of stuff, and it'll be easier to just figure out what you really like to do. Now, disclaimer for quads. This is very, very important. Don't skip over this. Your form is very, very important when you're training your quads. You need to protect your knees because in the long run, it doesn't matter if you're jacked, if you can't walk. We need to prioritize longevity when we're training our quads. You have all these guys going 2 reps, 3 reps in squats, which is not bad inherently, a lot of the time, their form starts to break down and their knees take a huge hit. When we're training quads, we have to prioritize our form and we have to prioritize also controlled repetitions in which we can easily move the weight without much hinge and without much just, dicking around with the weight that we're swaying back to back. Very, very important because a lot of people, they're just gonna eat away at their knee cartilage. They're gonna have to train super light in the future. Their knees are gonna be cooked, their legs are gonna be small, and they're just gonna think, man, maybe if I just prioritize my form, maybe if I just prioritize my depth, maybe if I didn't go so heavy, and even if I did go heavy, that I was training smart. Very, very important. I mean, you only know what you have until you lose it, right? And think about you missed a leg day because you couldn't go to the gym. Now think about the guy who just simply wants to walk, you know, to be in his position. They all he wants to do is walk. Maybe he's like disabled. He's not caring about the leg day, so there's always something to be grateful for. And right now, I'm assuming you have good knees, but in the long run, if you train silly, you're gonna be silly. But play dumb games, you win stupid prizes. So just prioritize your controlled repetitions and protect your knees for quads. Very important, man, really. Now, the last muscle group, hamstrings. Similar to the quads in that they only require two exercises, and with the quads, I'm sorry, with the hamstrings, we do one hinge pattern and then we go into a leg curl. So one hinge pattern, usually on the heavier side, but not so heavy. I'll explain that later. And leg curl, like we said, lighter, 8 to 12 to 15 to 20 reps, whatever you find works good for you. It's perfect. Now, what is a hinge pattern? You might be asking. A hinge pattern is any type of thing where you bend. So basically, this is the starting position. Let's say this is like a side view, and you're holding a barbell, right? Oh my God, this looks so bad. That's the start position, and the end position is a like that. You're hinging. It's like you're bending down basically, and your sorry, lower back is getting trained. So if you don't know what this is yet, if you want a little bit more clarification, some hinge pattern examples are hyperextension bench. So if you ever seen a hyperextension bench, it's basically, how do I explain this? It's the bench where it's like, imagine this is the base, and the bench stops basically at your pant line, like where your pants are. And then what happens is you hinge up and down, hinge up and down. You could just search up on the internet, hyperextension bench if you don't know what I'm talking about. It'll show right up. Also, stiff-legged deadlifts, Romanian deadlifts, even normal type of deadlifts. Very nice, good hinge patterns. Barbell good mornings too. This is kind of like the goblet squat, to be honest. It works, but if you can, just avoid it. Just try to use the hyperextension bench. If your gym doesn't have that, basically every gym has a barbell, which you could do a stiff-legged deadlift, you could do a RDL, you can do a regular deadlift. Very, very important. So start out with the hinge pattern, then we go into the leg curl. I personally, for my hinge pattern, I love to do the hyperextension bench, and then I like to train I'm sorry, actually, that's not what I like to do. I like to start with the leg curl first, warm up my knees, and then I go into the hinge pattern. So usually the leg curl, I train 10 to 12 reps. I go lighter. So I'm actually doing this backwards. I'm going light squeezing sets and then heavy, heavy hinging in this case, not heavy pressing, not heavy rowing, heavy hinging. And then I go into my hinge pattern. I go about 8 reps. So it's heavy, but like we said, it's not so heavy. And this is why I'm about to tell you why it's not so heavy. Your form, once again, is similar to quads in that your form is extra important. You have to prioritize controlled repetitions, like we said before, to protect your ACL and your knees. It does not matter if you're jacked if you can't walk, and like we said, we already know that. And I'm sorry, this is not why I don't go so heavy. I'm about to tell you that right now. But I just want to put that disclaimer out there right now. Very, very important for your hamstrings. You have to be smart when you train. You want to protect your ACL. You're going to have to train light if you get injured either way. So prioritize the form, prioritize the depth, and honestly, this disclaimer just can go for legs in general. And yeah, focus on that form. Now, why do I say heavy but not so heavy for my hinge pattern? Be extremely careful on spine-based movements, like the machine hyperextension, which is the one that I do. I know right now I'm sounding like some bimbo who just is talking down on, oh, be careful on hamstrings, be careful on quads. Maybe you just shouldn't go to the gym and be safe. No, listen, I'm a hard worker, I'm disciplined, but I know also from experience that I'm about to tell you in a sec, be extremely careful on spine-based movements. A spine-based movement, your spine is literally the forefront of your body. It's what holds your body together, man. You need to prioritize the longevity there. If you mess up and let's say like you hit a weight and then you accidentally hinge too far or you do something dumb or you don't warm up enough or you're tight one day and you still decide to go into your top set, this can lead to life-changing injuries. So don't be careless. Think about your body long term. You really have to minimize that joint pain, boys. Very, very important for the hamstrings. You gotta be training smart. Yeah, the spine is extremely important. Don't fuck it up. I remember a time this year, so this was March of 2025, when my body just started to shut down, like entirely. And I didn't understand what's meant. Like, I would wake up and I would be so tight everywhere. I would hinge and my lower back would just start throbbing in pain. And it didn't really make sense because I didn't change anything from how I've been training for the past 3 to 4 years. I was still doing my cardio. I did a low resting heart rate, good cardiovascular ability. I exercised weights 6 times, 5 times a week. I stretched every day for about an hour. I was prioritizing my recovery. I was doing everything. But the thing that I overlooked was I neglected the hinge movement. Think about it like this. Imagine this is your back, and honestly, just your whole upper body, cutting off at your lower back, okay? So, let me redraw this. This right here is your back, and right here on the blue line is where your lower back begins. So this right here begins your lower back. So this is like your lats right here. These are your arms. And imagine with time and time and time and time, your back muscles begin to grow. And you're getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And your chest grows. And your shoulders grow. And your biceps grow. And your triceps grow. Everything grows. As a result, your body weight goes up. Now, you see right here, this lower back portion, it's not changing in size because you're not stimulating it at all. Because when you neglect the hinge movement and you prioritize bodybuilding trainings, most of the time bodybuilding training is usually just machines. So when you're training machines, very, very rarely is your lower back ever getting any type of stimulus. So imagine the stress on your lower back continuously increases as your musculature increases on your upper body because you're constantly getting heavier and essentially the lower back is not accustomed to carrying this weight all the time, so it starts to get tight. It starts to start sending signals to your body. Your sleep gets worse because your hormones are all messed up. Everything is just horrible, right? And this is what happens when you neglect the hinge movement. Basically, you neglect your stabilizer muscles. What's super important is your lower back. When you keep increasing in weight, you bulk and you cut and you bulk and you cut, nothing is happening to this section right here, and that's a big no-no. Because for that reason, you're going to start to get tight, and it's going to take away from your bodybuilding training. So if you haven't already implemented it, don't only do a leg curl for your hamstrings. Instead, focus on doing the leg curl plus the hinge movement. So right here we have the examples of the hinge movements that you could do. Hyperextension, stiff leg deadlift, RDL deadlift, etc., etc. Very, very important. And like we said, don't go so heavy because your spine is super important, and a spine-based movement, you have to be extra careful. So maybe don't go to failure on a spine-based movement. Maybe go like 1 rep in reserve, 2 reps in reserve. It's very important to protect such fragile things because once you mess it up once, it's messed up for life, boys. So yeah, that was also my story on don't neglect your stabilizer muscles. Very important. You're just gonna start to get tight and you're gonna have this huge bottleneck because imagine it's kind of like training your shoulders and never training your biceps and training your triceps. It would just look weird. It would make no sense. It would increase the risk of injury because you see you're basically super weak on your biceps that maybe one day you have to carry a heavy weight, or I'm sorry, not even heavy for shoulders, but maybe you have to push down a heavy weight for your triceps, something like 8 to 12 rep range, whatever, that your biceps are just not accustomed to even holding. You know what I mean? So it's very important not to neglect your stabilizer muscles. Don't end up like me, who was jacked on the upper body, but the lower back was so trashed that everything hurt. And now that I do the hinge movement, the hyperextension, it honestly just feels like flossing. It's so good, just flosses your back, gets rid of all the tension, all the knots, all the adhesions. Very, very good. So don't neglect your hinge movement. So yeah, this was the full exercise guide on how you can stop overcomplicating your training. The value in this video is actually just insane. Just before this video ends, the top link in the description, I've linked my paid program. Like I said, it's bodybuilding, but daily bodybuilding tips, but basically advanced. That channel, I honestly think, is amazing for your improvement as a bodybuilder because these videos are like, this one's gonna be about, what, 45 minutes long, 40 minutes. Over there, 10-hour, 15-hour courses, pre-recorded. I always update, I add new courses all the time, one-to-one coaching, calls, check-ins, full protocols. Basically, if you think this video was good, you just wait until you see the program that I have. Honestly, I think that place is amazing for your improvement as a bodybuilder because it covers things that most people just don't talk about. A lot of the bodybuilding channels, the bodybuilding basically gurus, they try to quick sell you. They try to do these things like they try to give you their program that's been pre-built for everyone. But for me, I literally make you a custom program based on your needs, based on your availability, how much you could work out, everything. And so that's top link in the description. I think that place is honestly amazing. In this video, I dropped insane value. Over all the years of my lifting, this is exactly how to train every single muscle group, the programming, the rep ranges, what I do for the chest, the triceps, the shoulders, the back and the biceps, and of course the legs. Very important, the quads and the hamstrings. Yeah, this was the full exercise guide. More full guides to come on this channel. I used to record a lot of tips, but honestly, I think you guys can get better value for the people who have the top 1% attention span, who are mature enough to watch these type of videos and sit through the whole thing, because I think it's better that way. I don't have to make content to appease to the people who aren't really focused in the first place. So more full guides to come, boys. It's honestly, I think, is the way for this channel. So expect more full guides. Once again, top in the description is my paid program. Check that out. This was the full exercise guide. Stop overcomplicating your training. Peace.